Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Alright, so today I'm just going to do, I guess, a free, I don't want to say freestyle, but just a kind of free floating conversation. I want to share with you an experience that I had today, a really nice experience actually. And I want to share with you from my side of what it's like to do energy healing on people. It is one of the most amazing experiences in the world. Probably the most meaningful experience, I would have to say. It's more than that. I can't. I'm trying to find the right words. It's in the chosen one in the video series. Jesus heals this woman who's been bleeding for, I think it was 12 years or a long time, and no one could help her. And she reached out and touched his cloth and was healed. And she was crying and saying thank you. And he says, no, he goes, you have blessed me. That's the closest feeling that I can to try to explain how good this feels when I help people. Okay, so again, this video is going to be different than the other videos, just me sharing something that I want to talk about because I don't really get an opportunity to talk about it much. And so this is fairly purely selfish reasons, but I think it'll help you guys to understand what all of this is about. We hear it all the time. We read it in the Bible, and yet for most people, it is the concept of believing just goes right over their head. They're like, nah, it can't be that easy. It is. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what happened today at the grocery store. And I want to start out with like this. I have moments where I can feel something's about to occur. And so I kind of ground myself and I kind of tune in, and then I just go about my day. And here's what happened. Okay, I found the word. It's magical. It is absolutely magical when I heal someone, when I work with someone. Even today's experience, so I'll share it with you. So that's the word I was looking for. Alright, so I'm kind of about to laugh right now. So I'm looking at the image. It says I have a mustard seed and I'm not afraid to use it. It is such a cute but very powerful message. Especially with someone like me, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't mess with me if I was you, because I literally have a mustard seed and I'm not afraid to use it. So for those of you who've watched the last couple of videos, you know what I'm talking about. So about 15, maybe 17 years ago, the energy healer that I was going to, she had said, you know, Michael, when you go into public, you could, like to a restaurant, you could literally walk up to everyone and charge them $100 by just being in your space. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, Michael, you heal people when you're in their presence, okay? So one of the things about me, I'm such a grounded, healed being that it opens up your energy, and the healing process will happen while you're in that space with me, and it'll continue probably for a day or 2 days, maybe even a little bit more. So yes, for those of you who've been following my videos, especially when I'm grounded like I am today, you get a really good kind of vibe and energy going on, and it does get the healing process moving. So a lot of you will say, oh, you know, I broke down in tears and this and that, and this made so much sense, it helped me so much, etc. This is all part of the healing process. So it's much more than just words that I'm talking, it's the actual energy. Okay, so I'm at the grocery store and I get this kind of vibe like, okay, something's coming. A good vibe, not a bad vibe. And so I kind of expand open and I ground myself, and I just go about doing my, what I'm doing, and whoop, I'm telling you, 30 seconds later, right up from behind me, this cute little Asian lady walked up and, oh, hi, blah, 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 just starts chatting away. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. She was tiny too, Cambodian, cute little lady. So inside, I would say in my heart, I definitely had a grin. A grin going on, just kind of looking like, wow, it's a brave little lady walking up to someone. And I just, what I do is I keep my space wide open, okay? And so it allows people's energy to open up, okay? Because what happens is when your energy is closed, it can cause obstructions, and that can cause, all kinds of things. I don't want to say the bad word right now, but bad things, okay? So essentially, we just kind of were rambling about, the lemons and the limes and just, little things. I'm just kind of waiting, like, okay, there's more to this than, mini chat about lemons and lime. And it ended up going pretty deep, very spiritual, okay? And I said, well, she had actually used the phrase, I think healer or energy healer, and I'm kind of grinning, looking at her like, and I waited a little bit longer. And eventually I said, well, I'm actually an energy healer. She goes, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm actually a very powerful one. And I explained some things to her. So I shared with her about my experiences with Buddha Calm, the Buddhist monks, the healing that, they did on me, and the energy healing courses that I took. And I started talking about Uncle George Naopi, the big kahuna in Hawaii, etc. And she was really fascinated. And so here's what happened. She eventually revealed that she had a stroke, I think she said about 3 years ago. So she was doing pretty well, and she said, I can't quite get the words out. And I go, well, you're doing really good. And she was not compared to what I used to. And then she said a little bit later that she had lupus. And I jokingly said, oh, it's never lupus. She goes, what? I go, it's never lupus. She goes, no, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. So I kind of giggled a little bit. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, well, didn't you ever see that TV show House? MD or something like that, where it's a doctor, and every time they try to figure out someone's disease, he's like, no, it's never lupus. So this is the TV show I'm referring to. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty brilliant show. So as I'm talking to this lady, I'm realizing like, oh, okay, so she needs healing work is what's going on. So I very much grounded myself, and see, when you open up your energy, I know that might be for somebody like, what do you mean open your energy? When you open wide open, it allows that person's energy, it allows their energy to open up, and that's what allows the healing process to begin. Okay, so I've already started the healing process. Just by being in this space, it allows anyone that comes into the space to start this process. So one thing is, okay, how do I explain this? Okay, I'm just going to spit it out. Okay, so here's the deal. It really isn't lupus. It's not cancer. It's not any of these labels. So all the label does is it makes it seem real in the 3D dimension. Okay, that's really what this is. Oh, we must put this in a box, because it's left brain thinking. We're going to call this something. And it's reverse healing. It's like magic, or maybe black magic would be the right word, to make it real in your mind. Okay, so if this becomes your reality, suddenly it becomes real. So as the Heyoka empath that I am, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm literally going to break and destroy that reality. Because whatever you hold in your mind's eye as reality, that's exactly what your energy and your unconscious mind begins to create. So essentially it really comes down to this one thing, like, what is your reality? Now think of your reality as a movie. You are literally creating this reality by holding this reality. So if we can get you to let go, you can recreate anything that you want. Now, when she came up to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it was like she's asking me to help her to change or shift her reality. Okay, so one of the biggest things I do is I help people shift their perspectives, and shifting your perspective shifts your reality. So one of the things I began to share with her is something I've shared in the past with you guys, but I want to share it right now, so I'll make it the quick version. So the very, very first time I decided to use these techniques on I was going through this energy healing training, and I was, we do it during the training, but this was the first time I did it at home. And I was still at that stage. I was like, man, is this stuff real? I mean, it seems kind of out there, right? So, unbeknownst to my girlfriend, I don't even remember why I chose her, but I think she said she had a headache or something like that. And so, essentially what I did was I started doing some pranic healing techniques, and I was going through the whole step 1, step 2, going through the process. And it took me, I'm going to guess 40 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. And I wrapped it up. And now, mind you, I was in Vacaville, she was in Antioch, so it's about a 45-minute drive away, 45-minute drive away. And she calls me up and she goes, "Are you doing energy healing on me?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "I just finished it 5 minutes ago." I go, "Why?" She goes, "I feel this really cool energy coming down through my head and flowing into and through my entire body." And so I was like, "Really?" And so she talked about it a little bit, and we eventually hung up. Now, mind you, while I'm telling her, this Asian lady at the store, this story, I'm doing the same thing to her energetically as I'm talking to her. So then I started to tell the next part of the story, which is the very next day. Now, mind you, back then I was like, is this real? I mean, man, did somehow my girlfriend know that? I mean, I'm thinking there's no way. I didn't tell anyone. There's no way she could have known. So I thought, okay, well, I'll do it again the next day, and I won't tell her. So I'd go through the process, and about 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes before I was completed, the phone rings, and I picked up a hello, and it was my girlfriend, and she goes, "Are you doing that energy healing thing again?" I go, "Why?" She goes, "I feel that energy coming back down in through my body again." I was like, "Yeah." I go, "I'm almost done. I've got like 4 or 5 minutes left to go." And so it was, for me, it was a huge convincer. So as I'm talking to this Asian lady in this store, I'm walking her through the process of grounding her energy and expanding and open up. And you could just see the relaxation on her face, okay? So here's one of the things you have to understand about communication. In order for people to understand what you're saying, they have to take on the emotions of what you're saying. So when I have an open hand and I drop it down to her abdomen, about a foot or two away. And I was up around the head, and I kind of pulled it back and then dropped it down to her abdomen, stomach area. And I was talking about, dropping your energy down and your awareness going inside, etc. Because she was external, and I said, your energy from your eyes is on my forehead. Imagine it going back inside your forehead and then dropping down. And I'm lowering my hand with wide open palm and fingers to her abdomen. Now, as I'm doing this, though, I'm in peripheral vision, auditory, and kinesthetics, which allows the energy to guide her energy to go down inside. So you could see her energy opening up, okay? One of the things I told her is like, look, all of this stuff comes from fear, or maybe you got an injury and the emotion never healed around it, okay? So one of the things she shared with me was that, okay, so what I basically said, like, what happens is, and I showed her one of my veins, and I said, look, see this vein right here? She goes, yeah. It was on my forearm, and I go, yeah. I go, what? And I pinched it. I go, what happens if I were to block it like this? And over time, what's going to happen? She goes, well, it's not going to be very good. I go, yeah, over time, it's going to cause some kind of dysfunction. And she goes, okay. I go, that's what cancer and lupus and all that stuff is. It's just a blockage of energy. It's like a pipe, and the water is supposed to flow through it. But if you've got blockages, it slows the flow of the water and might even stop it. And that's what cancer is. All we have to do is get your energy to open up and clean out all the old energy that's blocking it, okay? So as I'm talking to her about this, what I just said to you, I'm literally doing sweeping motions with my hand, and I'm cleaning out her energy as I'm talking to her. In fact, I'm doing it right now as I'm talking to you. So of course she has no idea what I'm doing. So essentially I'm grounding her, I'm opening up her energy field, sweeping energy out and bringing healing energy in while I'm talking. So we were actually there for about an hour. So I did a fairly complete energy healing process while we were just seemingly talking at the grocery store. Which reminds me of a time, I would say more than 15 years ago, maybe not quite 20, about 15 plus years ago. I was at Starbucks, and I walked in, and there was a young lady there, and she was not doing good, and she was holding up a good front, but I could tell like, her energy was just, something wasn't right. And I sat down in the only place which happened to be next to her that was available. And I just kind of got caught up in my world. I knew eventually she was going to start a conversation. It was that same kind of feeling like, oh, okay, here we go. And so I'm not going to go in depth, but essentially what happened was she had some issues. She had something going on, some things going on energetically. And she was depressed, and she was having issues, and things were going on, like I said. And so we casually talked for about an hour or so, and I got up and left, and she was feeling much, much better. Just like the Asian lady. The Asian lady got her face was so lit up, and she was just open and free, and it was just really nice. Like there was this light around her. Okay, like I turned her light bulb on, so to speak. So just very nice, bouncy energy. So what happened with the girl at the coffee shop? I would say, I think it was 3 months who had gone by, and I was walking by on the sidewalk in front of that same coffee shop, and she comes running out. She goes, "What did you do to me?" And very proudly I smiled, and I looked at her and I'm like, "Why? What are you talking about?" And she goes, "You know those problems that I was talking to you about?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "I had those my whole life," and she breaks down crying. I'm like, "Okay," and I'm smiling. And she goes, "They're gone. I don't know what happened, but and she's just crying, and she starts to hug me. She goes, I don't have them anywhere. They're completely gone." And so, how do I explain? Like right now, I want to cry and I want to laugh at the same time. I would say the other word to describe it is just a purity of joy. So the Asian lady at the store today, she had shared with me that she had lived through the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. She was Cambodian, and that they had escaped, but they had gone through it for 5 years. So yes, of course, that level of fear can create something as lupus, because fear kind of, and I clenched up my body to show her, kind of like, almost hyperventilating. She's like, "Yeah, that's exactly," because essentially what I did is I tuned into her energy, and I basically mirrored it so she could see it externally, so she can see it outside of herself, because it's a part of the process which will help her unconscious mind go, "Oh, I need to let go of that." And I goes, and then what I did was then I relaxed. I go, "When you let it go," and then her whole body relaxed. So I physically showed it to her, and then I showed her the letting go, and I expanded my energy as if like a helium balloon, just let it go and float away. So the healing process is essentially happening all around you. even when you don't know it. Alright, so I'm going to leave that right there. And I'm going to talk tomorrow about Jesus and the experience that he had with the woman that couldn't stop bleeding, okay? It'll help you to understand something of what allows the healing process to begin. For me personally, this whole thing in the last 3 years has come full circle. My energy healing abilities, my consciousness. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know how to explain this. Like, my connection with God is a lot more powerful than it's ever been. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little view there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, click the like button, click the subscribe button, make a comment, and if you want, you can go ahead and make a donation right there in the description box. There's a PayPal link you can click, and I'll see you guys next video. God bless you guys.